All right, let's just jump right in. You know, every galactic empire has its secret agencies, but the Logos Imperium, they play on a whole different level. We're going to go behind the curtain and look at the two invisible hands that really steer this ship, the Agentes in Rebus and the Scrinium Barbaromum. One is obsessed with perfect, total order. The other, it actually creates chaos. It's a wild setup, so let's get into it.
To really get a grip on this world, you have to understand what's at stake. This quote says it all. A war machine with a logic plague is a traitor in the hull. We're not talking about your average spy games here. We're talking about information warfare, where the threats are existential, fought in the deep code and in the darkest shadows.
And this brings us to the core idea that somehow holds the entire Imperium together. It's called the Byzantine pendulum. The whole system is basically balanced on a knife's edge between two opposing forces: stasis, which is the drive for perfect unchanging control, and plasticity, which is the need to adapt, to change, to evolve. And these aren't just philosophies, they are the living mandates of two very real and very dangerous secret agencies.
Now, this right here really breaks it down for us. On one side, you've got the Agentes in Rebus, called the Eyes Within. Their entire job is to watch for internal heat. On the other side, the Scrinium Barbarorum, the Eyes Without, and they're the ones who manage the external noise. One uses absolute digital authority and just erasure. The other embraces chaos, using controlled volatility and even starting conflicts on purpose. They're two sides of the exact same imperial coin.
So let's pull back the curtain on the first of these powers. We're going to start with the agents of stasis, the Eyes Within, and their absolutely relentless quest for perfect, unshakable internal stability.
So what are they actually hunting? Well, their target is something they call heat. Think of it as any friction in the system. We're talking corruption, sedition, disloyalty, heck, even just being inefficient. Anything that messes with the perfect, clean operation of the imperial machine is labeled heat, and it's their job to cool it down. Permanently.
And how exactly do they cool it? Well, their ultimate weapon is, frankly, it's horrifying. It's called the editing. And listen, this is not just an assassination. This is the power to completely erase people, events, even entire family lines from the Imperium's official memory banks. They don't just kill you, they make it so you never, ever existed in the first place.
And this line just perfectly captures the cold, bureaucratic finality of it all. When you get edited, you are processed as a 404 error in the memory of the machine god. Your entire existence just becomes a broken link, a page not found in the code of reality. It's chilling.
Okay, so now let's swing that pendulum all the way to the other side. If the Agentes in Rebus are the architects of perfect order, then the Scrinium Barbarorum, well, they're the masters of managed chaos. Their mission sounds like a complete contradiction, but it's absolutely vital for the Imperium's long-term survival. Their whole world revolves around noise. This is all the messy stuff, the chaotic data, the new alien threats popping up, all the unknowns that exist out there on the fringes, way beyond the clean, stable signal of the core worlds. And here's the thing. They don't want to silence this noise. They want to understand it, and more importantly, they want to use it.
And this right here is the core of their entire philosophy. Absolute order leads to terminal stagnation. You see, they believe that an Imperium with no challenges, with no outside pressure, would just get lazy, weak, and eventually it would just collapse under its own weight. It would be a death by perfection.
And get this, they don't just wait for threats to show up. They create them. Their doctrine of controlled volatility is this cold, four-step process. They'll pick a frontier sector, stir up trouble with local warlords, and then they'll introduce a controlled threat. We're talking an engineered plague, maybe even a heresy they secretly approve. And why do all this? To stress test the Imperium's defenses, to keep everyone sharp. It's insane.
So we have these two completely opposite philosophies. But who are the people, or, the things that are actually on the ground carrying all this out? It's time to meet the specialized operatives who are fighting this shadow war.
First up, from the Agents in Rebus, we have the Cypher Ghost. These are their elite information warfare assassins, and their signature move is something called the Face Dancer Protocol, which lets them physically and digitally overwrite their own identity. They become their target, a literal ghost in the machine.
And just look at how deep this mimicry goes. It's not just a mask. To fool a biometric scanner, they use a data spike to literally harvest the target's biological data. For an IFF tag, they have a signal synchronization array. And to beat a Neuralink scan, they have to use a special serum that basically flatlines their own mind.
But, and this is a huge but, look at the risks. The data they steal goes bad, the signal fades, and the mental stress is off the charts. It is the ultimate high-wire act with absolutely no safety net.
Now, on the other side, working for the Scrinium barbarorum, you have the context weaver. These agents are incredible. They don't just kill people, they kill the truth itself. Their job is to manipulate all the data, all the local systems, to completely rewrite the story of what happened, making a high-profile assassination just vanish into the background.
And this gives you a perfect, chilling example of how they do it. How do you cover up a political assassination? Well, they might just hack the local weather satellites to frame the assassination as an atmospheric anomaly. So the target wasn't murdered. Nope, they were just the victim of a tragic freak lightning storm. Case closed, no questions asked.
And the specialization just gets crazier from there. I mean, listen to these job titles. You've got mimetic virus sculptors who literally design contagious ideas, logic bombs that infect your mind. You have Ethernet sniffers who hunt other spies by tracking the tiny digital ripples they leave behind. Noise infectors who seed enemy networks with corrupt data. And my personal favorite, the bureaucratic saboteur, who can get a target erased just by injecting a tiny typo into an official execution order. The creativity they have for this dark tradecraft is just astounding.
So, let's zoom back out and look at the big picture. You have these two incredibly powerful opposing forces constantly working against each other. One is building walls, the other is lighting fires. What you end up with is an empire literally built on friction, a truly deeply unstable equilibrium.
Which, of course, leads us to the one central question that defines this entire system. Is this constant infighting, this perpetual shadow war between stasis and plasticity, a dangerous flaw in the design, or is it a feature?
The answer is as simple as it is unsettling. It is the design. This friction, this conflict, it's not a bug. The Imperium was built this way on purpose. The internal pressure from the agentes keeps the core from becoming corrupt and lazy, while the external pressure manufactured by the Scrinium keeps its armies and fleets battle-ready. It's a system that is engineered to thrive on conflict.
So the LOGOS IMPERIUM is a machine that's designed to run with one foot on the brake and the other on the accelerator at the exact same time. But that leaves us with one final haunting question, doesn't it? What happens when that perfect, terrible balance finally breaks? What happens when the pendulum swings too far one way or the other?